Nobody would believe me when I said that the June Nintendo Direct would re-reveal Metroid Prime 4. It's pretty sad that we live in a world where just because I've been wrong for 5 straight years, that automatically means I shouldn't be trusted about this sort of thing. But re-reveal it they did, and I'm handling it very professionally and reservedly. We may not be getting it until next year, but there are plenty of games to tide us over until then. In addition to the Metroid Prime Remaster and Metroid Fusion coming to the Switch last year, we now have Metroid Zero Mission as well. And, beyond the series that contributes to its namesake, we've been practically swimming in Metroidvanias this year. Between January and June, I've played my way through 5 of them, some of which have their own individual videos that I'll link below, but a couple of others that I've yet to give my thoughts on. So today I'm going to break down the various offerings in the genre for the first half of this year in terms of how each game tackles some of the major facets of the genre: abilities, exploration, and interconnectivity of the world. This way we can find out what makes each of these Metroidvanias unique. Ubisoft's revival of the Prince of Persia IP was a critical success for good reason. It radiates style from practically every corner, particularly with its art direction and combat. Some of the combat abilities Sargon obtains along the way double as puzzle-solving mechanics to open new areas, but most other abilities primarily serve as a means of traversal. I don't want to spoil them all since they're a treat to unlock and figure out, but genre staples like air dashing and double jumping are executed beautifully here. Sargon's movements are animated with a fluidity and grace that can leave you with a stupid grin on your face.
I'm a poet and didn't even know I was rhyming those words.
There is no shortage of nooks and crannies to explore with these newfound traversal abilities. While they don't play out like your standard adventure game, there are side quests Sargon can pick up along the way, many of which require you to search high and low to complete the objective at hand. The map system also has a generous function that allows the player to pin a screenshot or place a stamp to remind yourself to come back later once you've gained the relevant ability. For those who truly get good, there are also a handful of very challenging trap puzzles. Thankfully, rewards are either cosmetics or upgrade materials that you won't truly need to see the story to its conclusion. As for interconnectivity, the various areas of Mount Koth weave in and out of one another in mostly interesting ways, with some minor frustrations thrown into the mix. I recall one late game instance where I was given a hint to return to Area A by cutting through Area B. This particular shortcut was not one I'd already come across, and when I first made the attempt, I ended up connecting Area B to Area C instead. So I had to double back again to try to find the proper route where I needed to be. Moments like that aside, the fast travel system at launch was pretty generous, and a recent update has made it even more so. As long as you're exploring enough to find the relevant means of fast traveling, frustrations around traversing the map should be pretty short-lived. You should play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown if you're looking for a well-balanced mix of all the things that make a Metroidvania so appealing. In addition to everything I've already touched on, the plot is fun and engaging, with just enough twists to keep you guessing. Finally, the game is literally well-balanced. There are a plethora of settings you can tweak for difficulty, combat timing, visual or auditory impairment, and more. Someone out there wondered what would happen if Samus was raised by an IV drip of LSD instead of a race of space birds, and the result was Ultros. The overall abilities given to the player for this fever dream are overall lackluster, but still get the job done. You've got the double jump, of course, but there's nothing else that truly helps you explore or navigate this cosmic uterus in the moment. More on that shortly. Combat abilities are similarly serviceable, but don't make a significant difference when it comes to encounters with standard enemies, nor with the bosses. That said, there is still plenty of exploring to do and secrets to uncover, even if the skill tree itself doesn't do much to help. What really makes Ultros unique is the use of different seeds and plants to help you reach previously inaccessible areas. However, such a unique mechanic does require a certain amount of buy-in from the player to be utilized to its full potential. Gardening is only used sporadically in the course of the main story, so you're unlikely to truly explore everything it has to offer unless you're opting for 100% completion. The interconnectivity of this world is also a tricky discussion. The way the varied areas branch out from the central region is relatively convenient, but the fast travel system again requires the player to buy into the gardening mechanics to be used to its fullest. This can be a fun side quest of sorts if you're interested, but I personally did not go too far out of my way to link up the fast travel network. You should play Ultros if you're looking for a Metroidvania that has some familiar mechanics but surrounds them with a setting and mechanics that are as unconventional as they are unique. Tales of Kenzera Zhao is the debut outing from Surgeon Studios, headed by Abubakar Salim. As is expected with many debut titles, Zhao is an example of a great concept with imperfect execution. This is perfectly exemplified by the abilities for both traversal and combat. Tying them to either Zhao's Sun Mask or Moon Mask makes sense thematically, but multiple segments require timing that is far too precise to be fun. Combat in general is woefully imbalanced, with mid to late game sections throwing close to a dozen enemies at you with power-specific overshields. Additionally, the skill tree doesn't offer anything to truly turn the tide in your favor or make you feel like you've grown significantly more powerful than when your journey first began. You do get more of a sense of power from the traversal abilities, but again, some of them are tying certain abilities to only one mask and requiring the player to shift back and forth between them at the drop of a dime, which can be increasingly frustrating, especially considering those moments of precision occur very infrequently throughout the game. As for exploration, there are plenty of secrets to find and optional platforming challenges to complete. The game does a great job of making sure you know that whatever crazy acrobatics you're about to attempt will give you a reward, but are not required to progress the story. That said, the world map is absolutely atrocious. I cannot overstate how much I hate it. It's borderline unreadable in certain sections. Interconnectivity between regions is pretty minimal, but serviceable. The fast travel system is generous and allows you to go back to earlier sections to use your new abilities or to reattempt challenges. You should play Tales of Kenzera if you're all in for the story. The plot and themes of grief and loss were executed beautifully and are clearly handled with every ounce of love and care by Salim and his team at Surgeon Studios. It's an admirable first outing, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. Since there is no true combat in Animal Well, all your abilities, or rather all your items, serve as a means to solve puzzles, but many of them double as a means of traversal. Playing around with each item's mechanics to reach new areas is almost as rewarding as finding the secrets. There are multiple items that aren't needed to roll the main credits, but which help you find more secrets and navigate previously unnavigable sections of the map. And sweet mother brain, there is so much here to explore. If you think you found everything you can, no, you most certainly did not. I've played this game for at least 26 hours across both Steam and PS5, obtaining 100% achievements on Steam and the Platinum Trophy respectively, and there was still an entire layer of secrets I've barely scratched the surface of. Billy Basso did not waste a single pixel in stuffing this well full of secrets. Finding connecting paths within and between the different areas is constantly surprising and satisfying. As seen in early trailers, you will occasionally come across TNT. Finding these and seeing what new paths open was a blast, but finding less explosive shortcuts was just as enjoyable. The fast travel system was a puzzle of sorts as well, playing into the ongoing exploration and secret hunting in natural ways. You should play Animal Well if you want seemingly endless exploration. Every path finds its way to another secret, practically filling this well to the brim with dopamine hit after dopamine hit. Nine Souls is an indie wonder that has to be seen to be believed. The skill tree and unlockable abilities are some of the best from this year's offerings when it comes to both usefulness and variety. As with other games, many of them double as the means to access new areas in addition to their utility during combat. The same special deflection technique for a boss battle may be the key to destroying the barrier to a new area, for instance. Stringing together different combos, deflections, and special abilities was satisfying from the very first swing of your chi blade, and the customization available in the skill tree allows you to cater to your preferred playstyle by switching up how certain abilities function. Maybe I'm too much of a filthy casual, but some of these abilities were a smidge too tricky to pull off in quick succession during some later game boss encounters. But that's what lower difficulty modes are for, which Nine Souls offers from the very beginning, at the expense of certain achievements. Every region Yi explores offers plenty of secrets and potential items to uncover. There's also a great variety between regions, ranging from an idyllic village to high-tech processing facilities. I was also very invested in the lore behind the varying regions. Each one has a purpose to play in the overall story being told, and slowly peeling back those layers was a treat. While there is a central hub of sorts, there are also surprising connections between areas waiting to be discovered. Even before then, the fast travel system evolves in a satisfying way as the main story plays out, allowing you to do plenty of exploring on your own before giving you more free reign. You should play Nine Souls if you prefer a focus on combat without sacrificing other major elements like story and exploration. This is easily the most challenging combat of the games I'm covering today, and does have certain Souls-light elements like losing your accrued currency if you die before returning to the site of your last death. But if that's your cup of tea, don't sleep on this one. I truly cannot believe we've been given so many Metroidvanias in the first half of the year, each with their own major selling points. And the trend seems to be continuing with this month's release of Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus. So which of this year's Metroidvanias has been your favorite? And which are you most looking forward to playing next? Let me know in the comments. And as always, play what you love and love what you play.